everyone, welcome to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya Fields, but to my friends and those who know me well, I'm just Maya. I'm a higher education administrator, a mother, and a wife of 14 amazing years. But above all, I'm a Christ follower. This podcast is a special platform created to honor the memory of my beloved daughter, Hannah. It's here that I have the chance to have the conversations that I never got to have with her, to share the wisdom and love I wish I could have passed on. It's a reminder to cherish the precious moments we're given and a testament to the power of healing, hope, and personal growth. If you're someone who's seeking personal growth, inspiration, and practical advice to build a solid foundation for a successful and fulfilling life, this is the place for you. Join me as we honor Hannah's memory together. Laugh, cry, and learn. Get ready for a podcast that is so much more than you could ever imagine. The Hey Hannah podcast, healing hearts, one conversation at a time. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya, and I am so glad that you joined us today. This month, we're diving deep into our theme of purpose. I hope that you all have been enjoying this theme this month. And in today's episode, we're going to dive a little deeper and we are talking about finding your purpose after loss. I know that can be kind of a tough subject, but loss can be one of the most challenging experiences we go through in life, and it can leave us feeling lost, empty, wondering if there's any purpose to our pain. Like, what is all this madness for? I want to offer some hope to you today. So that is what we are tackling with today's episode. Now, the first thing I want to say is a lot of times when we think about loss, it just instantly goes to the loss of an individual or grief, which is, obviously those are huge losses. But there's also, the loss of your health. Maybe your physical health has suddenly declined, or you receive some type of diagnosis, of a medical condition, or you lose a relationship, whether it's a marriage that falls apart or a close friendship, or, even a rift in a relationship with just someone that's important to you, losing a job, losing financial security, losing your independence, losing your home, losing your dreams, or even your expectations. My point is there are so many forms of loss. So, it's not just grief. You want to still be able to find hope or purpose in all of these things and different forms of loss that can take place throughout life. So I do just want to acknowledge that. The first thing I'll say is, in the book of Ecclesiastes, 3:1, it says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." I wanted to use this scripture first to provide some hope, because it reminds us that even in the dark times, like when you can't see your way out, there is a purpose and there is a season for everything. So when we talk about, how am I going to find some purpose after this? Like, what's next? I want to share some encouraging things with you. First and foremost, it's important that you give yourself permission to grieve. And again, grieve whatever that loss is. Grieve the loss of, your hopes and dreams. Or if you're going through a divorce, you may grieve the life that you thought you would have had with that spouse. Or, if you lose a friend, friendship breakups are definitely hard. You may grieve the loss of, the relationship that you have with that person, or things that you thought you all would be able to do, and just, it's a loss. True enough. So give yourself permission to grieve those losses. Those are real losses, even though it may not be you losing an individual. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel. It takes time to heal, and it's okay to feel a wide range of emotions. But again, in Ecclesiastics, it says a time to weep and a time to laugh and a time to mourn and a time to dance. So, it's a time for it. So give yourself that permission and the time to sit with your feelings and, see how you feel about the situation. The next thing I think, what I want you to do is consider the lessons and the growth that can come from your pain. Sometimes our greatest purpose emerges from the ashes of our past. It's like, the phoenix rising, as they'll say, like a reference. But consider just, kind of what the experience has taught you. And that takes some time as well. It doesn't happen overnight. But give yourself some time to just kind of sit with things and figure out the lessons that came from that. And as we just move forward talking about, the journey of healing, we often discover when we go through situations a newfound empathy and compassion for other people, who have gone through similar struggles. And that's where a lot of our purpose can be found, really in helping others. So as I was kind of digging into things and preparing for this episode, and I thought about, how people can really connect over experiences that were not the best, were not the most favorable. But there is some connection there sometime for individuals. I started doing some digging just to kind of think about how other individuals have found purpose after, hard situations for them. And I want to share this with you because this was kind of interesting and encouraging for me. But one of them that came up was Oprah. We know Oprah has spoken a lot about experiences of childhood trauma and loss that she's experienced and how that really helped her to shape the purpose for her life and help her to create a platform that she has to inspire and empower other people to really overcome diversity. Now, regardless of how you feel about Oprah, um, she's accomplished some amazing things. And so it's interesting to see that she attributes a lot of that to finding her purpose after going through, such hard circumstances. Um, Another one I found pretty interesting was Jay-Z, and he talks a lot about, obviously he's a rapper, but we know him these days a lot more for being a businessman. But he talks about openly how the loss of his friends to different types of situations really influenced his career and motivated him to succeed, knowing that, his other friends passed away young. He felt like, man, I have to succeed in this way to, so it means something for all of us. So I thought that was a interesting perspective and just kind of something to look into when you think about, someone finding purpose after loss. But another one, and this kind of came from a book that I read, but one that was very helpful for me, Sheryl Sandberg, she's a Facebook CEO. She wrote a book called Option B. And so this book is all about her experience after she suddenly lost her spouse. And so she talks about resilience, finding a new sense of purpose after grief. Like she dives deep into this in her book. It's co-authored by Adam Grant, so it's not just Sheryl. But again, she talks about her personal journey after suddenly losing her husband. And she offers some valuable insights into overcoming adversity and really finding purpose for, like, what's next after such a hard situation. The book is very touching. It's insightful because, Cheryl's talking about her personal journey, but it also provides some valuable lessons on how to navigate life's most challenging moments and just really find hope, resilience, and renewed purpose. So I'll share that kind of as an example story, as a win story, as a story of hope. I hope you find hope in Cheryl's story, but also as a resource. This is another book to dig into. that can hopefully provide some encouragement and another form of connection. A lot of times when we're going through hard things, we want to feel like it's not just us. We want to be able to connect and feel like our experiences are not an anomaly. So we find comfort sometimes in knowing that other people have survived similar situations because, if they can survive it, I can too. Now, as we move forward and just thinking about how we are making meaning of our loss, think about how you can use your experience to make a positive impact in the lives of someone that's around you. And if it's fresh, like that can be hard. But for example, if you lost your dream job because of some things that you wish you would have done differently, if you start mentoring other young professionals, speaking to other individuals and trying to help them avoid some of the things that you did, and you help even one person, that now gives more meaning to your loss. Like your loss wasn't all for nothing. Yes, you may have lost your dream job, but now someone else has been helped and they're able to further themselves because of an experience that you were able to share. So think about that too. And I know sometimes when we're talking about hope, that helps to give you some hope and some sense of purpose with, making your situation have more meaning than just something that was an unfavorable experience. And remember, Romans 8:28 tells us we know that all things God works for our good to those who love him and who have been called according to his purpose. And who is he talking about when he says those who love him? Well, obviously, do you love the Lord? That's you. And who have been called according to his purpose. Those who are saved, that's you. So you can put your name in there. And we know that all things God works for the good of Maya or whoever. Put your name in there. But that. Stand on that promise. We know God's character and we can always refer to that as our foundation. And that'll help give you some hope and help keep you fueled, as you move through. Never underestimate the power of hope. It's like, a guiding light in the darkest time. So if you can't hold on to anything else, I hope that you are able to grab a piece of hope from this episode and nurture it and let it lead you towards your new purpose. Give yourself time, but hold on to the little pieces that you can in the meantime till you can make your way to solid ground, solid footing for yourself. So thank you for joining me on this powerful episode of the Hey Hannah podcast, where we talked about finding your purpose after loss. Remember that even in the midst of the darkest storms, there's a light and they can guide us forward. I do want to leave you with an encouraging quote from Sheryl's book that I mentioned, Option B. We will find joy again. We will choose life and the hope of joy in the future over the pain of our present. So as we wrap up today's episode, I invite you to take action. And what I want you to do, this is what I want you to do to start moving in the right direction today. Reflect on your own journey and consider the steps that you can take to find purpose. And resilience, really just in the face of adversity, whatever your adversity is. Reach out to your support system, your support network. Never feel like you can't ask for help. Ask for the help that you need. Explore your passions and remember that healing is a journey. It is not a destination. So give yourself the time, give yourself the grace that it takes to get to a place of healing for you. If you found this episode inspiring and helpful, please share it with someone who may benefit from these words of encouragement. And together we can create a community of support and hope for everyone. So thank you for being a part of the Hey Hannah podcast. Your strength and your resilience are remarkable. And I believe in your ability to find purpose no matter what the challenges in life are bringing your way. So as always, Hannah's Hive, I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget that you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We are on Instagram. and even on TikTok. So connect with us on those social media platforms to keep the conversation going. And I never take the support that you all provide the platform for granted. So I absolutely appreciate you tuning in. I pray that you've been blessed by this episode. And until next time, everybody, take care. And that's it. I'm ready. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. We hope that you found inspiration, insight, and encouragement in our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay connected with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and review the Hey Hannah podcast. Your feedback helps us reach more people and spread our message of love and wisdom. You can also follow us on social media at Hey Hannah Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated on all the latest episodes, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and engaging content. And for those of you who prefer the visual experience, catch the video versions of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Just search Hey Hannah Podcast and hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode. For even more Hey Hannah goodness, visit our website at www.heyhannahpodcast.com. There you'll find updates, bonus content, and join a community that embraces you with open arms. Your continued support truly means the world to us. Together, let's spread love, share wisdom, and honor every precious moment. Because here at Hey Hannah, we believe that life is meant to be lived well. Remember, a new episode of the Hey Hannah podcast is released every Wednesday, so mark your calendars and be sure to tune in. Thank you again for being a part of Hannah's Hive. Until next time, take care.